Welcome everyone. It's time for a big clash here. We have Fabiano Caruana, one of the best players in the world of chess, the indisputable world number 2, and his opponent there, Alexander Grischuk, known for his speed chess, known for playing under time pressure, two-time World Blitz champion if I'm not mistaken, but also tremendous player. So great fight is expected between them. We're at the World Blitz Championships 2025. A handshake and off we go. Let's see what Fabi begins with. He plays e4. We have the Sicilian. Knight to f3, d6. Well, Grischuk will most likely go for his favorite Najdorf with a6. Oh, he goes for the dragon. And you can see there Fabi pausing a bit. He's like, okay, dragon variation. It's always very interesting because white can go bishop e3, f3, queen d2, long castle, bishop c4, known as the Yugoslav attack against the dragon, and then launch your h pawn down the board, opening up the king side. It's all well known, and Caruana is thinking, should I go for this well known business, or should I go for something that is much more calm? He goes for the calmer approach, which is just saying to Grischuk, I respect your choice of the dragon and I just want to play something that gives me a game. Because here fighting for an advantage does not seem very likely. A4 played to get some space on the queen side. I think already black can equalize with the move d5. It's a very powerful move in the center, and I think Grischuk is calculating that, but then goes against it and plays bishop d7. Fabi plays rook e1. Often the rook starts looking at the e7 pawn, which right now looks not possible. But you know, the knight jumps in, and when you exchange, the e pawn moves forward, and then this becomes a weakness. So a useful move. a6 played here to take control of the b5 square. And we have h3. Now the g4 square is controlled, and maybe at some point Fabi can start pushing forward with f4. Black's plan, on the other hand, is quite straightforward. You go knight e5 or knight a5 and start looking at the c4 square, putting pressure on the b2 pawn. Notice this powerful bishop down the diagonal and the rook on c8. All very interestingly placed. And yes, not to forget, sometimes there could be potentially exchange sacrifices. So knight goes back to b3. And now knight a5 makes a lot of sense because you open up the rook, you're just trading one set of minor pieces. Black is the one who has slightly less space on the board, and that's what Grischuk does. Grischuk also having slightly more time on the clock. So a very successful opening for him. Queen a5 played, and now bishop d3. Caruana defending the e4 pawn even further, and black can go bishop c6, rook d8 with the idea of d5. That's one plan. I'm very keen to go b5 at some point, but that's simply off the table. You know, ab and queen is under attack. So what are the other options? I guess bishop e6 to go to c4, or bishop e6, knight d7, knight e5, or knight c5 could be possible. He goes bishop e6. And maybe d5 is what is on his mind, Alexander Grischuk, because he has three pieces now controlling the d5 square. And Fabi goes bishop d2. He's preparing for a knight jump, putting a discovered attack on the queen. So the queen moves back, queen to c7. What could be more logical than that? And now a5 clamping down on the queen side. A good move there by Caruana. Time for central break with d5, I believe. It's time now. Alexander is thinking about it. Well, he could also keep the structure and go knight d7. He could play rook e8, rook d8. Many calm moves also possible. And the clock has gone down below for Grischuk. Then Fabi. Needs to make his move. d5 on the board. A good move. Breaking in the center. And now if ed, knight d5, I would say black has equalized. So e5 definitely needs to be looked into. I think it's the best move. e5 here. And Caruana thinking hard here. He goes e5. And the knight, maybe knight e4. Giving up a pawn could be an idea because then you get back the e5 pawn. I like this move, knight e4. It's so direct. Okay, knight d7 also not at all a bad move. Knight d7, knight c5 is also a great maneuver. Grischuk deciding between these two moves. Not an easy task because I think knight e4 just kind of equalizes on the spot here. Black should not be worse in this position. So it's a call between whether you want to play for equality or you want to go for a little bit more with knight d7. Here I think Grischuk is not able to decide. He goes knight d7, maybe for slightly more. f4 by Caruana, saying that I have more space now. Rook d8 played. And maybe b4 even to stop the knight from coming to c5 could be very, very powerful. This d4, I can jump in, knight e4. Yeah, knight to a4 played. Fabi takes into control the c5 square. He anyway goes knight c5. The only thing that I feel has kind of become not so great for black is the bishops. They are very passive. And now something like bishop b4. He goes queen e2. White is now clearly better. Grischuk pushes d4 to solve the problem of the bishop. If he can get the bishop to d5 or maybe some other square, then the bishop can come back into the game. Fabi does play his bishop to b4. A beautiful move. Looking here. And now queen to c6 played. We have the rook coming into the center. And now, what's next for Alexander? Maybe he wants to take on d3. Later on, the e7 pawn becomes soft. Which is the reason why he goes bishop f8 and defends the pawn. By the way, look at the clock timing. 17 seconds for Grischuk. 36 for Fabiano Caruana. Still a fight. Fabi is better, but it's not like anything's decided yet. I think for Caruana, one of the plans is to push f5. He takes, queen d2. He's preparing. He's preparing for the f5 breakthrough. He defends the a5 pawn. Bishop comes to d5 and boom, f5. Beautiful move. Beautiful move. If e6, I believe f6 is possible. But then somehow this bishop controls all the dark squares. So maybe it's not so easy to launch a mating attack. So he takes on g6. Very understandable decision. Takes rook f1. By the way, taking with the f pawn was important because now rook f6 and rook f1 is very powerful. He goes queen f4. Bishop comes to g7. And Fabi doubles down on the f file now. Triples in fact even. And the f7 pawn is tremendously weak. Defends. Knight comes back to c4, coming in here. Black is fighting back. Queen g3 and now bishop b5 is a good move. He goes rook d5, putting pressure on e5. Suddenly the knight can't jump in. The pawn on e5 is loose. Things are looking good for Grischuk. h4, beautiful move, trying to blow up the king side. Bishop b5 and now h5. Let's go. No, he goes rook e2. He gets passive and suddenly it's black who's better. Wow. Queen c7 played, putting pressure on e5. He defends it. Rook takes a5, winning a pawn. But the king side is weak. He opens it up. And now Caruana with 16 seconds is thinking how to give the blow. You know, the winning blow. He goes queen h2, threatening queen h5 and queen h7 mate. Rook comes into the game. And he takes the pawn. Rook d5. Excellent chess here. Maybe b4 needed to remove the rook. Then no squares on the 5th rank. Check, king f8. He goes rook f1. He's attacking this pawn. But can black take the e5 pawn? He takes it. Rook f2. Oh my god, doubling here. f5. And g4 opening up the king side. Black needs to find a way to defend. He goes rook e3 and presses the clock with just 1 second. Rook g3 check. King h1 may be the best move. He goes rook g2. And the pieces are falling down. Rook takes g2 with 2 seconds this time. e5 a blunder. Because Fabi gets f6 and you can see Grischuk. He knows that he blundered there and resigns. What a game this was. Insane game, and you could see Fabi there completely relieved at this win. And the key moment actually came when after g4, rook e3, he took, maybe bishop f5 was a stronger move. but he took on f5, and this was a big blunder here. e5, Grischuk should have taken ef5, and the position was fine, but he played e5, and after f6, it was game over. What a game by these two amazing players, and Grischuk once again showing what an amazing blitz player he is. But Fabi was the stronger one today.